Representative Fabian, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Can you describe your district and tell us in what ways you and your district are similar?
You know, I really think I'm a reflection of my district. First of all, my district is all of Roseau County, all of Kitson County, all of Marshall County, and 4 townships in Pennington County, which is includes the city of Thief River Falls. To the west, we are neighbors to North Dakota, and to the north, we are neighbors to Manitoba. It's about 5,000 square miles, and I really believe that I've been in just about every square mile of the district since I started this in 2011, the session started. And I really feel like I am. I mean, I shovel my own sidewalks, I blow my own snow. We are very agricultural, but we also have a very strong manufacturing base. I have a very, very big interest in agriculture. You know, I drive grain trucks for some friends and do some farm work once in a while. And, you know, I've been through all the different manufacturing facilities in the area. And of course, having been a former teacher and a track coach for 34 years, I got into lots and lots of the schools. I made lots and lots of friends throughout the district, and I'm just as common and plain as those people are, and I really appreciate the fact that they have confidence in me to be their voice here in St. Paul, and it's quite humbling, to be honest with you. And I love Northwest Minnesota. It's the greatest place in the world. To have had the opportunity to raise my 3 boys in the town of Roseau, and to have had all the opportunities that we've had to drive all of the thousands of miles. It's been very, very rewarding, and I feel like this is my opportunity to give something back to the great people of Northwest Minnesota.
Why did you initially decide to run for office as a representative?
You know, number one, I have a concern for what's going on in my district. I guess there was a sense of frustration, and there's lots of people that feel that today. I think that in a lot of cases they feel like government, and we can, you know, dissect the word government a lot, but it doesn't listen to us. I felt like we needed a strong voice for rural Minnesota, particularly Northwest Minnesota and St. Paul, and I've tried to do that. I try to do it in a respectful way, but I also try to make sure that my voice is heard, and I'm not afraid to put some ripples in the water, you might say, but at the same time I don't want people to look at me in some sort of a disparaging way, and so I guess I just felt this urge, a sense of frustration, and my wife said to me one day, she said, well, you know, why don't you run for office? Well, then when it came right down to it, you know, 6 months later, she said, you're going to do what? So here I am today.
What are your top legislative priorities?
Well, in this session, I guess that I would like to continue the permitting reform that we started in the first 2 sessions that I was here. I was disappointed in that both the governor's bill and the chamber's bill did not get hearings in the House. I would like to continue that. Obviously, with this being the unsession, I think that some of that permitting and streamlining fits into that. I'd like to make it easier for cities and counties. You know, oftentimes people have the misconception that the only people that have to get permits are businesses, but that's not true. If you want to do a county road project, you have to have permits. If you want to put an addition on a hospital, you have to have permits. So I would like to have that process speeded up. Obviously, I'd like to see some of the taxes repealed that were put into place last year. I'm hopeful that we can do that. You know, I want to continue to make sure that the farmers, the cattle ranchers, and the turkey producers, and the ag sector in general in my part of the state is protected. And I'd like to see, you know, some other reforms that make it easier. I'd like to see the MAGIC Act get back into the legislative calendar, you might say. It's a bill that will allow for counties more flexibility in how they go about their business, and setting up some pilot projects. One of the things that frustrates the people that I represent, the social services directors, is they're given money, but it has to be put into separate drawers and for social services, and they're required to spend only this amount of money on this project, or these services, but maybe they need some more money over here in this drawer and to provide these other services. So what I would like to do is to kind of untie their hands and allow the local people to decide how better to make use of the dollars that the state sends to them.
What do you see as the biggest challenge the state will face in the next 10 years?
Well, I think it's jobs in the economy. Quite frankly, when you live where I live, we are at a very significant competitive disadvantage to our neighbors to the west in North Dakota. The tax and regulatory climate over there is much more business friendly. I have the great privilege to be able to represent four very large employers in northwest Minnesota: Marvin Windows and Doors, Polaris, DigiKey, and ArcticCat. And all of them at one time or another have had the good fortune to be able to grow and expand. And I've talked about this on the House floor many times. I know some people think it's a broken record, but I feel so strongly that we need to create an environment in Minnesota that encourages those businesses to grow and expand here. For too long, too much of that expansion has come in places like Grafton and Fargo, North Dakota, and Spirit Lake, Iowa, and now Monterey, Mexico, and Osceola, Wisconsin. You know, I want Minnesota-based businesses to be able to say, this is the best place in the world for us to do business in terms of the people, the workforce, and also the tax and regulatory climate.
If given the chance, who would you like to be for a day, or who would you like to exchange roles with?
Surprisingly, it's probably not anybody in the political arena, but you know, there's lots of people. You know, if we turn back the hands of time a little bit, you know, we could go back to the days of Dale Earnhardt. You know, I had tremendous respect for him. I thought that he was such a plain blue-collar guy too. You know, we talked earlier before the interview started that I have an interest in listening to music and so forth. And I think guys like George Strait, you know, he's just so comfortable in his skin. It would be interesting to do that. On the political side, you know, I really don't have a lot of desire to do other than what I am doing right now, and I'm comfortable with who I am and what I am. To be honest with you, I don't have a lot of desires to be other people. I like being me. I love my family and the people that I represent, and I'm pretty comfortable just being who I am.